What's up, guys? This is GC Off-Road. Today I'm going to be removing the AC system out of my Jeep. So you may be wondering why I want to remove it. Well, I've had this Jeep for 5 years and the AC has never worked in it. Now I'm wanting to run a dual battery setup, which means if I do it the way I want to, I'm going to have to relocate my air box and my snorkel lines to this side of the Jeep, most likely, to be able to run the dual battery on the opposite side, or build a custom box on this side to where I could mount the battery over here beside the AC compressor and the other battery. Now the problem with that is that would put a lot of extra weight on that one side, and I would have to move the fuse box right next to the battery to allow me to relocate some stuff to actually fit the battery there. So I'd much rather use a different size air box on this side and put my battery on the other side. Now another project that I'm getting ready to start on is onboard air. I'll be converting my compressor into an onboard air system. I'm just waiting on some parts to come in the mail, but as soon as everything arrives, we'll get started on filming that video and doing that project. So the first thing I'll be removing is the accumulator. It sits right beside the coolant jug behind the battery. There's a rubber and aluminum line that comes off and goes into the low pressure side of our compressor. Now the other line coming off of it runs in through the firewall to the evaporator. So I'm gonna have to remove that and get it out of the way to free up some space. Your AC system still has refrigerant in it or any kind of pressure in it. You want to take it to a qualified mechanic and get the system vacuumed to get everything removed out of it. But the first line I'll be removing is the aluminum line that goes through the ring fitting into the firewall. Now you'll remove that by using a line tool for like a fuel line or air line. They sell them at Harbor Freight and other automotive stores, but I made my own just out of a Coke bottle. Right here's the line that I'll be having to remove. This fitting right here has a ring inside of it that we need to expand so it'll pop free of the lip of this line. So what I did was I took this tool I made, slip it over the line, pull it up to it, and then, see if I can do this with y'all watching, you just grab a hold of that rim and pull, and it'll pop that free. The other line that comes off would originally be connected right there, and what you would do is you'd undo that bolt next to the coolant line and this whole piece would come off. Now what I did was unbolted it and put a paper towel inside of it and bolted it back on, and then I used my hacksaw to cut this line off. I did the same thing over here, and I'll tell you why I did that here in a few minutes. But now that those two lines are disconnected, all I gotta do is unhook this sensor here and set it off to the side for now. Now down here, there's this ring that holds the tank in place. You want to loosen that bolt up, and then you should be able to just wiggle that and pull it free. Now back down in here, you can go a step farther, and I think you take out the dash and you can take out the evaporator. But for right now, I'm just going to leave this alone. I'll just go ahead and cap it off for now and come back to it later. Now this line down here is the same thing. It's got a metal ring on it that helps hold it together. Once you take that off, you use the line separator tool, and this line will come off. And this one runs all the way up here around the battery, and it goes down to the condenser up front. Now you can see here, just without that tank and those two lines in the way, it freed up a lot of space in this area, which will give me plenty of room to possibly relocate my air box and do my onboard air system. So the reason that I cut the ends off of that line instead of just removing them is that I'm going to modify them to where the fittings for onboard air attachments will mount straight into them. I'll just have to drill them out, thread them to the right size, and then run my attachments off of that. Alright, so I'm just removing the screws out of these brackets here that hold the condenser in place. Now the bolt that hooks to the radiator mounts that helps hold it on is a 13 millimeter, and the screws are an 8 millimeter. There's, I think, 4 or 5 of these brackets. Now I've got everything freed up from the brackets. Now I'm just going through and pulling the brackets off, and I'm going to save them for later. Alright, so this ring right here is froze up. My tool won't disengage it. So I just bent these lines over to the side, used a pipe cutter and cut them off. That way I can straighten them out and pull the condenser out the front side. So I just bent the bracket that holds these two lines here to the mount after I undid it. Just bent it out so I can get the lines out. And now I'm taking it down through the bottom in front of the radiator and out the bottom corner. Okay, so I just got those lines pulled out. You can see right back here, I had to cut the line because it was stuck also. I just crimped it shut and put a cap over it for right now until I can take the rest of that out. But up here at the front, I've got the condenser out, all the lines all the way back to the firewall removed. It's not a whole lot of weight savings, but it sure did free up a lot of room. Anyways guys, that's kind of a quick video on how to remove your air conditioning system out of your Jeep. Now you can go farther and remove the compressor if you don't want to have a compressor, and I think they sell a part that's a idler pulley that takes the place of the air compressor. I'm leaving my compressor because, like I said, I'm going to be converting it over to use with an onboard air system. So anyways, this is going to be the end of part 1. Part 2 will be when I come back and actually convert it over and do all the plumbing for the onboard air system. So y'all stay tuned for that. As always, thanks for watching. If you haven't, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and check back for other videos.